Welcome to our webinar series. It's the first of 6 that we're going to be running. This one will introduce you to Protos Networks, who we are, and our relationship with Cisco and Meraki. Thanks again for joining. It's really good to have you here. My name is Phil. I'm the network sales specialist at Protos Networks, and I'll be running through this today with you. I'll be manning the messages while Darren here runs you through the presentation itself. So without further ado, we'll get started. There will be a Q&A sessions at the end. Please, if you do have any questions moving through, put them in the chat. We'll engage with you as much as we can during those. Any questions left over, we'll pick up afterwards. Without further ado, over to you.
Thank you very much, Phil. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Darren Cooley. I'm the technical director here at Protos. And today we'll be talking about Protos, who Protos are, and our partnership with Cisco Meraki. Obviously, this is one of 6, Phil, 6 webinars, yeah?
First of 6.
Yeah, so this is the first of 6 webinars. So this will be a little bit Protos heavy in this, introducing who we are. And then at the end, I'll cover off what the next webinars are in this series. But some of them will be very Meraki focused, so you won't see me. You'll see, people from Meraki, some of our account managers and some specialists from Meraki potentially. And then you'll probably see me come back when we're doing a bit more of the SASE stuff, where we're bringing in some of the Cisco's security solutions and things like that. Behind me on the table, you can see some goodies, and I'll cover off what we've got to give away in them, after the webinar series. But I'll go over then today what we're going to talk about today. So really, we're just kicking off this webinar series today. Who are we? Who are Protos Networks? What do we do? What are our services and solutions? And then I'm going to lay the ground for this webinar and the rest of the webinars of the latest network and security trends that we've seen, and why we built our company like we did, based off what those network and security trends are. We'll then go into Cisco Meraki at a very, very high level. We're probably not going to do any demos or anything today. The next few webinars will be very, very demo heavy. So, and seeing all that. But we're going to go at 1,000-foot level, if you like, today, just with some of the latest innovations and, latest things that are around in Cisco Meraki, and then in the wider network security industry. So very Cisco focused today, but we'll touch on stuff outside that. And then near the end, we will cover off what's to come in this webinar series. So today might not be very long, but feel free to ask questions. You've just got us here at Protos today. I know we've got some existing Meraki customers and some customers on the webinar who haven't touched Meraki yet. So feel free, anything you want to ask today. No question is too silly. You've got us here to answer it. So a little bit about Protos then, for those of you who don't know who we are. So Protos was founded in 2016. By me and some others. I was one of the founders. Our background is in network security. And that's what we brought to the party, really. And we aim to build a company that specialised in enterprise networks and cybersecurity. And I'll move on to why probably in a couple of slides' time. The networks and security industries have over the years started to merge more and more and more. And we wanted to just specialise in that. And where you are, let's say you're an organisation with only one IT person in there, or you've got a whole IT team, but you need a specialist for networks and security, come to Protos, we can look after you there. So we do everything from firewalls to your wireless to network access control, penetration testing, Cyber Essentials certification. I'll cover all this shortly. And then a few years, 3 or 4 years ago now, we launched our 24/7 Network and Security Operations Center, which is now, it's been getting legs over the years. We've got a significant amount of customers on that now, to do that 24/7 instant response, out of hours. All my wireless has gone down at this site, or out of hours, I've suffered a major phishing attack, a ransomware attack, whatever it is. We're there to help you out and do that instant response for you. Between 2021 and now, we've seen significant growth for our organisation, which is great to see. We've got 3 new starters in the team this week, so that's the level of growth we're at the moment. And we've got over 1,000 customers across all verticals. Charity, we do a lot in charity, education, professional services such as law, public sector, education, I said. Housing associations, yeah. And that's across everything, so from managed services all the way up to penetration testing, cyber essentials, all of that good stuff. And what's our mission then? So our mission, and I know this seems a bit corporate, but we do believe in it, is to empower organizations with secure, bespoke, automated solutions to drive innovation and create excitement in networks and cybersecurity. So me and Damien's on the call, our sales director. We were sat with a customer a few weeks ago who said networks aren't sexy, and I disagreed profoundly with him. And this is a customer that struggles to see the value potentially of what we do. That particular network could benefit with some automation. If this device is in this group, then the network will do this and assign it a bandwidth, assign it a security policy and all that. And we want to work with customers who can see that. So they're not just buying a network or a bit of kit or some wireless or something like that. They're buying a solution. And that's where we think that we differ in the market from some of the bigger players you might know, you might go to, and you might get some kit a bit cheaper. But they've got a sales floor of 200 people. But are they really going to build you a solution that works for your organization? And that's some of the stuff we'll go into, later on during this webinar. So then, just cover off our services then. So, our services that Protos offer as a company. So our managed services, our Rolls-Royce service, if you like, is our 24/7 security operations center, and our managed detection and response services. And I'll go over that near the end, where the network stuff comes in. We've got a 24/7 network operations center, monitoring your WAN links, monitoring your SD-WAN, managing your ICE, global sites across the UK, whatever that looks like. So they're the services that we offer on the managed side. And then we have a whole team of specialists in-house who deliver professional services. And that's everything from network engineering. We've got a whole heap of Cisco certified engineers within the team. Security consulting, a lot of the work I do is around the security consulting. And that's everything from building out your security architecture all the way up to getting your organization from a poor security posture to a strong security posture. And I know we've got some customers on the call today who that's how they know us, that's how they know Protos. They come in and said, we need to do something about our cybersecurity, what do we do? And then we've ended up over the years also doing their networks for them as well. We can help you design that infrastructure. And again, some of those customers I've mentioned, we don't do end user IT. So we don't necessarily do things like Microsoft 365, Intune, things like that. But what our solutions do is make sure that they integrate with things like Intune or any of this new cloud technology that you're going towards. And our consultancy and design can actually help you on that IT journey. And a lot of the solutions we're going to talk about throughout this series will integrate with some of those newer IT models, cloud first and all that good stuff. And project support there, projects, small projects, massive projects, whatever it is. Our head of enterprise network, Sean, who was going to be, on this webinar today, he's managing a 200 site public sector project at the minute, and as you can imagine, anything with public sector, you get pulled left, right, and centre by them. So that's why Sean can't make it today. But that's the sort of stuff we do. Projects to tighten up your security, wireless projects, you name it. That's the sort of stuff that we do there. And then a bit more on the security side. Our compliance services. So ISO 27001 there, if you're going for that. Obviously, we're not a certification body for that. You have to go and bring your own certification body in, but we've got in-house specialists who can help you get your information security management system up and running and ready for audits. That's a key part of what we do. We're also a Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus certification body. So that's something that your organization needs. We can help you through that. And we've took hundreds of organizations, maybe thousands now, through that through that process to become Cyber Essentials, Cyber Essentials Plus certified. If ISO 27001 isn't for you on that governance and compliance side, we've got something called the IASME Cyber Assurance Standard, and that covers things like risk assessment, asset management, all of those areas of information security that, might be required for your organization. And then for those of you who have HSCN links or work with healthcare, we can also consult for the NHS DSP Data Security and Protection Toolkit. So, these are just some of the tools we have in our box to help you on your compliance journey. And then to wrap off our services, we have our security testing services. So this involves, network penetration testing, web application penetration testing, vulnerability testing, testing your cloud infrastructure, as we've already mentioned, Azure, AWS, all of that good stuff. And then red teaming. That's essentially where a team of us try and get into your organization via different methods. That could be via phishing simulation. It could be via phone calls. It could be via breach credentials on the dark web and all that. So they're the services that we offer. And then in terms of the solutions, so drilling down really into what we do on the network side, so your local area network, your switches, wireless solutions, software-defined WAN, and I'll cover that shortly as people are moving off MPLS, next-gen firewalls, network access control, Cisco ICE to automate your network, put that at the middle of your network, and then industrial and IoT, something we're moving into more and more. We've got customers such as dairy plants now, the UK manufacturer Red Bull, people like that are our customers now. So that industrial and IoT sensors and things like that is something we're moving into more and more. And then on the security side, some of these things that you'll see, they do overlap with the network. And that's why, we're presenting this today. So SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, we've got a slide on it later. It's a very, very novel thing, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, a
whole webinar on it, haven't we? Yeah, a whole webinar on SASE. Now, for those of you who are already Meraki customers, some of you might be just starting the journey. You might have Cisco Umbrella as well. I recommend you come on that SASE webinar because it is the way that networks and security are unifying, and it's the way everything's going. Zero Trust Access. Again, we'll cover that in a webinar to come. Cisco Umbrella, which is web DNS security. We can do endpoint detection and response, extended detection and response, and these will be other webinars. Cloud security, email security, vulnerability management, and human risk management. So what that is that's training your users. It's getting policies out to your users. It's doing phishing simulation against your users. So that's managing the human element of cybersecurity, which is often overlooked, by companies like us. We want to sell you a firewall, we want to sell you a cloud security solution, but we forget, the vast majority of cyber attacks are targeting the human, and human error or the human doing something is how most attacks are launched. So, just have a drink. Why are we talking to you? What are the changes in, the network security industry? So I've been in this industry now for 20 years, I think. And when I was, first in this industry, a lot of our network traffic was internal. So most organizations would have a data center, and they'd have all their servers in there. And the internet was only 20% of our traffic because most of the traffic was internal. Our email servers were on site. We had SBS servers, all of this stuff that I'm sure I've been around, Phil sold over the years, all of this stuff that was there. And everything was on MPLS circuits because we only needed a 20 meg internet breakout, and this is the way we managed our network. So a lot of the stuff was internal. And then the world changed. As we picked things up, like software as a service, Microsoft 365 being a big one, Salesforce, Teams, WebEx, all of this stuff, infrastructure as a service, moving to Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, Alibaba, whatever it is. We saw that our internal traffic decreased significantly. A big one on this was when everyone adopted Microsoft 365. No one needed an on-site SharePoint server or an on-site email server anymore because it was off in the cloud. And what happened is our internet traffic bottlenecked. So customers who were, bought into 3-5 year MPLS contracts with a 50 or 100 meg, internet breakout going out of one site, what they noticed is application performance was down, the user experience was poor, and their infrastructure didn't really fit the way the world was. Pile on top of that the COVID-19 pandemic. We all know what happened there. If you notice, before the pandemic, everyone in our industry was talking about digital transformation. After the pandemic, you don't hear that term anymore because the pandemic forced everyone to innovate and work from home. And what happened then is a security headache. We saw it ourselves. We had our customers coming to us and going, we need a VPN, we need something so they can access our, an on-site database or whatever it is. So they responded to that, and we hate being reactive, we like being proactive, but unfortunately, global pandemic, you're going to be reactive. And then what happened in the months after is obviously we were worried, God, are we going to have work and things like that? Then our customers started ringing us and going, now everyone's working from home, how are we securing them? I can't see what they're up to. I don't know, have they been breached? All of this stuff. So that's how the world changed. And what changed too is, a transformation in how we look at our network. So we moved from this data center centric topology, if you like, and way of doing things to an internet/cloud based way of doing things. So, we have, our branch offices, our local, even our head offices now are a bit more like internet cafes, and I'll cover what that is shortly. We let our team work from home most days a week. We're a hybrid workforce. We have to apply the same, network performance standards and security visibility standards wherever our users are. Naturally, we got big headed. We saw this coming many years ago. That's why we started Protos. So that's why we partnered with Cisco. When I was working actually for Warner Brothers Studios, and we had a lot of film productions coming in. So you name it, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., all the Harry Potter stuff, all of that. And we kind of needed a network that would just fix itself and do things quickly, and you can configure it quickly. We didn't quite have that at the time, but I saw, that Cisco had bought Cisco Meraki, and I started looking at this, and I thought that this is going to be the way things are in a few years. Networks are going to be cloud managed. It's going to be really simple to deploy. It's going to be simple to make changes and all of that good stuff. So that's why we partnered with Cisco, and obviously as Cisco become more and more of a security company, that's where we went there. So because networking and security was converging, it was just a natural choice for us to partner with Cisco. Over the years, me and Joe, our managing director, we were at an event in London about 7 years ago with other Cisco partners, and there were some of the big ones in there, one that begins with S and ends in T and all of them lot. And they said, they nearly laughed us out the room when we said, we're going to build an MSP on the back of Meraki. And now they're all doing it. And then we started integrating Cisco Umbrella with it. And not just Cisco stuff, outside of that, CrowdStrike, our EDR, Tenable, our risk-based vulnerability management, and starting to integrate this. And Cisco have recognized us recently during an audit as one of their next generation partners in that we don't just shift the kit, we take those different services and solutions and give you something that actually your business or your organization gets a return on investment on. And Cisco Meraki we put at the heart of it. So there's going to be many webinars over the next few weeks and months about what Meraki is, deep diving. I'm not going to go too deep today into the Meraki dashboard and all that, but I will cover what it is. So when we first partnered with Cisco Meraki, they had wireless, they had mobile device management, switching, and some edge devices, firewall devices, basically. Since then, we've come a hell of a long way. So now we have, advanced network analytics, seeing what's going on across our network, how our cloud apps are performing and all that. We have IoT sensors, things such as water, temperature, vape sensors, whatever else,
Sensor.
power sensors, yeah, whatever else is in this box, and cameras being the big one actually, because the camera is a sensor, if you like. So it's not just CCTV cameras. You know, we've helped organisations whereby they want to know, for example, the data center door opens. We detect with a Meraki sensor that the door will open. We will take a picture, and then it'll raise a SOC ticket that someone's in the comms room after 7 o'clock, for example. You know, and that's the levels of automation that we're getting to. So all of these solutions, it's becoming one platform, and I'll cover that off shortly. The great thing about the Meraki platform is it's got an open API. So in theory, you know, you could create whatever you want with Meraki, and one of their sensors is actually a button, isn't it? And we've got one out here. Again, I'm too old in the tooth for this stuff, but you know, we've got a team of geeks out here who absolutely love doing Python scripts and all of this stuff. And Meraki have got a button, and basically you press this button, and whatever they configured will happen. So Sean Enterprise Networks, I don't know what he's got to do with it. I don't know if you know. I don't want to know what he's got. But that's the point of it. In theory, you can do anything. And there's a whole heap of applications that you can go and get, which will integrate with your Meraki network. What I'm trying to say here is any organization that's going cloud first, and we see it all the time in RFPs and things like that, we are a cloud first organization. We're adopting Azure, Microsoft 365, whatever it is. You know, why not get your, obviously you could never have your APs and stuff in the cloud because you are going to need some kind of physical network, but the management and the monitoring and all of that is in the cloud. But extending this to the home environment, we've deployed Meraki to people's homes, but some of the newer innovations where they're not on Meraki equipment, you know, this SASE platform and all that, you know, ensuring the same security policies are assigned when they're at home. But now we are moving, you know, Cisco have recently bought an organization called Thousand Eyes, where we are actually, so they might be at home on the home BT router or something, but we will be able to see the performance of their wireless and all that stuff. And if, you know, their internet's rubbish at home, we could say maybe come in the office today and things like that. That's where we're getting to with all of this. At the center of everything is the Meraki platform, which I'll cover now. So what are you going to learn about in the next few weeks? So you're going to learn about Meraki Access. So when we say about access at this layer, we mean access level networking. So wireless, you know, Wi-Fi 6E, you know, we all know wireless, switching, multi-layer switching, layer 2, layer 3, campus, data center switching, all of that good stuff. And then mobile device management, something actually we don't shout a lot about, but we have sold a lot of MDM into schools and education facilities over the years, Meraki MDM. And then we're looking at the WAN, software-defined WAN, you know, Meraki MX appliances. So, you know, you can deploy these on-premise at your larger sites, smaller premises. You can have virtual MXs connecting to Azure, your AWS environments, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba Cloud, all of this stuff now. And then cellular gateways, you know, 4 5G gateways that can sit outside of that, you know, so this is your wireless WAN, if you like. So, you know, you might have a leased line going into one of your buildings, but your resilient backup might be a Meraki MG gateway, which has got 2 4G antennas in, one on Vodafone, 102, for example, you know, that provides you a bit more resiliency in your network in there. And then in the recent years, Meraki have moved into the smart camera space and sensors. And what we've learned over the years is that in the physical security industry, it's very old school. We've spoken to, you know, heads of facilities for retail and things like that, where if they have someone who's robbed a shop, for example, they will still send someone from, you know, head office in London all the way up to Newcastle to get the footage off the DVR and drive it back. So when they see that we could have cameras in the cloud and offload that storage, you know, to a cloud environment, and they can just get that footage wherever, and it's automated and all that stuff. It was like they'd seen fire for the first time. So, you know, by putting all of this Meraki platform, which we're going to move on to, you know, shortly, into everything, is really changing the way IoT works. That's the Internet of Things, you know, and how we're actually doing everything in our organization. So it's not just our IT infrastructure, it's also physical security, but then also sensors. So Meraki moving into sensors for heat, moisture, as Phil said, vaping, sound, power,
management,
all of this stuff. And you can start to see where in the industrial space where this does become interesting now, because these speak to Meraki APs as a gateway. Temperatures up in sector 5 of the factory. A Meraki camera can have a look what's going on in sector 5. We've got a fire, and then we can press the button that Sean's configured to call the fire brigade, for example. These are the levels of automation that we're getting to. So you're not just buying some kit, you're buying a solution. And behind all that is the Meraki platform. Most of you who've got Meraki already will know that's the Meraki dashboard. Again, I'm not going to drop into it today because there's plenty of sessions coming up on that. But the Meraki dashboard is at the heart of everything. End-to-end visibility. If you've got a device that's got a cable error, you can go to the dashboard and it will tell you. So in the old world, you might have a Aruba wireless, you might have Cisco switching, you might have a Juniper firewall at your network edge, and you're trying to troubleshoot where the hell is this network problem. Yeah, and we all know what users and people are like, the network's down. The network might not be down, they just can't get to the BBC or something like that. But that's what they'll say, the network's down, and we've got to go and find where that issue is. The Meraki dashboard will tell you, oh, it's the AP on the 6th floor it's got poor coverage today. Or there's a cable error on here. Or one of the WAN links is having high latency. All of that stuff. This will save you hours in troubleshooting, and it's why we put it at the heart of our NOC. But there's more with Meraki. Custom built apps, if you go to developer.cisco.com/Meraki, there's a whole marketplace full of stuff. Guest access, integrations with visitor sign-in systems, whatever it is you need. So visitor signs in, boop, 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 they get a wireless account created for them. Tech and partner apps, all of that stuff. And you can build your own applications. Something we're building at the minute in the SOC is customers of ours who have got the 24/7 monitoring, and then a Meraki. We are looking now at if we see an IP address appear in a threat or some malware, at the press of a button, we can put that IP into a block list in all your Meraki firewalls. That's the sort of innovation that's going on at the moment. So that's the Meraki dashboard there. And then in the coming weeks, if I just take you back a few slides and say, remember how we went from that on-premise, MPLS, traditional internet breakout, all of that stuff. The world has changed. And we know that users are working from anywhere. They're moving toward a hybrid workforce. And the amount of times we've sat with IT infrastructure managers and they've said to us, I'm looking at Meraki because I want our offices to be an internet cafe. All the time they're saying it to us. And that's the type of structure that they want. So yes, they will have network devices. So they'll have firewalls and switches and all of that good stuff at the site. But they know that the user that's there on Tuesday, they might be working from a Starbucks on Wednesday. They'll be working from home on the Thursday, and then they'll be working at the mum's house in Yorkshire on the Friday. This is how people work now. And we need to make sure that there's a consistent security policy everywhere and a consistent user experience. So, coming in one of our webinars, and hopefully by then our own SASE platform will be built. We're building it at the minute. It's something called Cisco Secure Connect. And this is a SASE fabric. So, what happens here is those Cisco Meraki internet cafes, they connect into this fabric. All your internet traffic, all your WAN traffic, all your traffic from Microsoft, it all goes through this fabric. But that's also the same when your users are working from home. And where I say there is this is where terminology like zero trust comes in. When your users access that fabric, they will be authenticated to make sure who are they, accessing all of our systems. And you can use whatever authentication mechanism your organization's bought here. You might have invested in Microsoft. You can use that. You might have bought Okta. You can use that. We can supply you with Duo. We can use that. Once you've connected to that fabric, we will then do things like internet-based firewall. So, the firewalling is no longer done on the premise. It is a little bit, but it's done off in the cloud, so you can't get here. We might want to block gambling sites. We might want to inspect the files that you're uploading to SharePoint or downloading. We might want to block access to any other Microsoft 365 tenancy except yours. we automate inspect for malicious traffic and all that. And what that does is that protects your internet and cloud apps, so like Microsoft 365, but it also means that your users will be able to access your internal applications. So it could be a finance system, it could be a case management system, something like that, without having to connect to a VPN. Because logically, in the bottom left there, the users, there might be VPNs going on in the background, but they don't have to connect to a VPN anymore. What happens is the fabric just sorts it out for them. Doesn't matter if they're on a Meraki network or they're at home, and it will apply that policy for whatever we configure. So for example, if your finance team need access to that internal finance app, in theory, wherever they are in the internet, they'll be able to get to it. If you're in the HR team, you won't be able to get to that, but the user experience will still be the same. So that's where we're going with that. SASE is a big focus. In a few webinars time, we'll come up on that. And then this all feeds into, our Rolls-Royce service, as I said there, our 24/7 managed detection and response service. So yes, a little bit more on the cybersecurity side of what we do. But, this is something now that, when I worked in the defense sector and things like that, we had a security operations center. Small to medium-sized businesses, 10, 15 years ago, wouldn't really have entertained this. Now we are seeing more and more cyber insurance, investors, partner companies and things like that are saying to organizations, if something happens at 2 a.m, is anyone getting out of bed? Is anyone noticing it? Is it raising an alarm? All of this stuff. And that's what we're seeing more and more. So we are now, this is our managed detection and response service. It's not in this webinar series, but we are going to be doing one anyway. So keep an eye out for that on what this is. So, we've been monitoring everything. So this is your SaaS applications, Microsoft 365, Azure, your on-premise, you might still have Active Directory. We'll be monitoring all your endpoints. We'll be monitoring all your users, integrating with things like G Suite, if you use that, or whatever it is, and all of that good stuff. And taking from that loads of data, threat intelligence from multiple sources. And then what the real service we're wrapping around is you've got our team of security specialists here. We will do incident response planning with you, and we will work with your team to iron out what happens at 2 a.m. if there's a phishing email that's sitting in 200 mailboxes, something we've had in the last few weeks. What did my team do? We didn't even contact the customer at 2 a.m. We don't need to. We removed that email from everyone's inbox, made sure the threat was eradicated, because the customer IT team isn't 24/7, but we are. And then we just let them know what had happened that night. Alternately, we might detect malware on someone's machine, and just like your bank calls you, if you use your card at a weird time or something like that, we can call the user and say, we've noticed a suspicious logon or some suspicious activity. We're going to isolate your machine, or we're going to isolate your account, whatever, or we're going to change your password. That's the detection and response element. And this is, we're going into this big part of this, as you can see there in the bottom in the light blue. Cisco powers a lot of this stuff. It's not all powered by Cisco. We've got some other things in there, such as USecure, which are human risk management. Tenable, Nessus does our vulnerability management. And CrowdStrike is our EDR. We partnered with CrowdStrike in the past year to do that endpoint detection and response. And then we can wrap around that with our other services: penetration testing, cyber essentials, governance, security architecture, all of that engineering. So that's the value there that Protos are adding. So yes, you've bought a Meraki network, but what else do you need? What else do you need in your organization? Do you need 24/7 monitoring and all that? Do you need response actions? All of this good stuff. So that's just a peek behind the curtain there at Protos. Coming up in the next few weeks, so there's our sales director there with some goodies. 28th of March, do you want to take this away, Phil? Go on.
Take it from now. So, thanks Darren for doing that. That's giving you a good idea of what Protos can do. The rest of the series is going to be much more focused. So 28th of March coming up, we've got the legend that is Jack Earl doing more of a deep dive into Meraki. So that will cover a lot more of the Meraki product base, a lot more around the cameras and the IoT space, and how Meraki see things are developing in the IT world. Following on from that, the things that Darren's talked a lot about today, so the SD-WAN, the SASE, zero trust, access, will be covered in 2 separate webinars, one on the 9th, one on the 23rd. Oh, sorry, one on the 9th of April, one on the 23rd of April. Both will be hosted by Darren and me. Following from that, we are going heavily into the IoT space. So we're looking at the Meraki cameras, the Meraki IoT devices, the sensors, and for those we'll be having the Meraki IoT team themselves coming on. They'll be doing some demos, showing you some live footage and what you can do with those cameras when they're all set up and all integrated and with all the automations on, and it's brilliant. So hang around for those ones. And those are the 14th of May and the 29th of May.
Yeah.
Just waiting to see if there's any questions coming in. But...
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that brings us to the end. So just, I don't know if you can see our camera, but yeah, what have we got in the box for? Let's pick that up while we wait for the questions coming in. Yeah, so we've got a hat. I won't wear it because someone else is going to wear it. You've got an MT14. What does that do? Is that a heat sensor? Brightness sensor. So for those of you who've already got Meraki wireless networks, these will already work. So goodie box there, some guidance on how to reduce your carbon footprint, save the planet, how to be more sustainable, and a Meraki beanie. Yeah, so that's what you can get if you attend our webinar. So I think we've got some questions coming in.
Yeah. We've had one question. Wants share some success stories.
Yeah.
From Meraki.
Yeah, okay. So one of our customers is Moneypenny, if anyone's heard of them. They are the UK's biggest, I think they might be Europe's biggest telephone answering. So they're a customer of ours, we're a customer of theirs. So if you ring Protos and all the lines are busy, the SOC's busy that day or something like that, the overflow will go to them. They're basically an extension of our team. They'll take your call and all that and then pass you on to the right person. That's what they do. They have PAs. They are growing enormously, and obviously they grew massively through the pandemic, growing up into North America quite significantly and things like that. When the pandemic hit, they had to send everyone home. Now, their entire business is voice calls over cloud platforms. And they said to, we knew the head of infrastructure, we used to work at another customer of ours. He said, we need a solution here. So what we did at the time is we went and we put the Meraki Z3 teleworkers, those of you who know what they are, little devices, look like home routers, little black boxes, and we built out a Meraki SD-WAN that went into people's homes. And then we put on top of that Meraki Insight, which shows you all of the telemetry and all of the performance stats and things like that for things like their voice platform. They use a cloud voice platform for that, for Microsoft 365, for all of this stuff. It will also give them visibility into the wireless performance of the home network and things like that. And there were 10 users who trialed it, and the help desk and those 10 users said, don't take this off us. The help desk had so much visibility and things like that. So needless to say, they bought that solution from us. Meraki in hundreds and hundreds of homes across the UK and America. To secure that, we needed visibility. So we integrated it with Cisco Umbrella, and then we integrated Cisco ICE and deployed all certificates to the laptops via Intune. So all cloud-based, delivered, and all cloud authentication, and all that good stuff. And what that meant is because the Z3s were in people's homes, only a company-owned device with a digital certificate could access that SD-WAN. So we were securing stuff at the home there. They're also a big SOC customer, but they're a flagship customer of ours on that.
And also, have you got any more details on how Protos Networks customises our managed service?
Yes.
For our customers?
So, I think I've showed you a few there. So, with regards to the automation, I think I've already spilled the beans on it actually. So, that firewall blocking rule, for example, we see something in a malware incident that CrowdStrike has detected, right? We can then say, if it's called out to a malicious domain from our platform, we can block that domain straight away in Umbrella. And it means if someone's registered a domain that they're using in a phishing attack or a ransomware attack or something like that, it's detected via one solution, and it might not be a solution we provide, it might be another one. we can then block that across your whole organization, but then all of our other customers. We can just push it off into Umbrella and block it there. Or on the Meraki side, we could push it off into Meraki, and block that domain or IP there. If we think a little bit more then on the IoT and automation side, something that we do here after 6 o'clock at night, so 6 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning, if all the knock and sock guys are working at home, which they usually are during those shifts, there'll be no one in the office. So what we do is if a door opens, the Meraki cameras will take a snapshot and then send that to the on duty SOC person. So they're not just looking for malware and things like that. They're also doing the security of the office while no one's here. So that's another thing that you can do. Temperature sensors, water sensors, take a picture, all of that stuff. Yeah.
In terms of the managed service, I think it's worth noting that it isn't a cookie cutter service. It's not a product that you buy and it does just this. Each case is taken by itself, and we sort of integrate it with your business needs. So no two business have exactly the same requirements. Part of what we will do is deep dive into those requirements to make sure that the managed service is giving you information you need. It's blocking the right things. It's allowing the right things. It's working with your specific partners. It's working with your specific applications. So as I say, it's a very bespoke product that is, rolled out over a period of time to make sure that, it is what fits your business.
Yeah. Any more?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Great. So we're pretty much bang on time. So again, thank you for attending. It's very much appreciated. 28th of March, hopefully see you all there for Jack to give us a deep dive into the Meraki platform. This will be, I can send out the slides for this.
Also on our website, we've started putting recordings of previous webinars up on the website. Click there, it'll take you through to YouTube. So we'll get marketed to that. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for your time. Thank you. Goodbye.